Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Marie, can you hear me? Melissa, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
My laptop is old and runs on gerbils, so my my camera always looks strange, but then when I'm screen sharing, it'll be fine.
Okay. Well, and I'm in my husband's office because in my office, like, the Wi-Fi is not good. The last few times I've Zoomed, I've had issues.
Yeah.
I like freeze and stuff.
My Wi-Fi is okay, just the visual will be a little a little strange.
Oh, here's Carolyn. It was dark. Oh well. Hey, Carrie. Yeah. Oh, there you are. I'm like admitting people.
Oh,
We'll do that for a few minutes. I don't see any more waiting. I feel like more people should be showing up. I hope I didn't mess up. If I didn't click something I shouldn't have. Okay, it's still working, right? I didn't ruin it. That's good news. All right, one more minute, we'll go ahead and get started. And hopefully a few more will trickle in. I know Alicia's got to join late. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Keller Chapter Liaison Training for 2021-2022. So exciting, so happy to have you. Yay! I'm Carrie Clausen, and helping me is going to be Carolyn.
Carolyn Gio.
Carolyn Gio. We're the co-VPs this year. Carolyn is on her way out of this job, though, but she is sticking around on the board to serve as our president-elect. Yay! Not us. Yay. She's going to be phenomenal, so very exciting. And she'll be a great resource. Let's see if I can start this. All right, what are you guys seeing? Is the PowerPoint up? Is that what you're looking at?
Yes. Liaison training with the heart.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay. All right. So now, April, can you introduce yourself? I know she's on here.
I am on here. Hi, I'm April Dobson. I have a daughter that's in the class of 2025. I'm the current webmaster, but I will be stepping into some ginormous shoes. So please bear with me and be gracious. I'll be stepping in, replacing Carolyn as the new VP for Philanthropy with Carrie. So I'll be leading on lots.
Welcome to April. We're so excited to have her. It's going to be awesome. Is Jenny on the call? I don't think she's here. But Liza Sharkey, are you here? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm here. It's hi, it's Lisa Sharp.
Lisa.
Yes, it's Lisa.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, my daughter Isabella is in the class of 2027. So happy to be here. This is our first year.
Wow, brand new. That's exciting.
Welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so Lisa and Jenny are going to be April and my assistants this year.
Perfect.
And they're going to be taking over from Marie and Jessica Springer. So what I want to do is go around real quick. Can everybody introduce yourself real quick? Tell us what year your daughter's in. And if you know what philanthropy you're going to be doing, then let us know what philanthropy you're going to be doing. I don't have you guys in gallery view.
Hi, I'm Alicia Leffler. I don't know if y'all can see me. I have a daughter, Audrey, who's class of 2024, and my philanthropy is going to be Operation Home Press.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm Sherry Bowman. My daughter Caroline's 2023, and my philanthropy is ACH.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Mary Lentz. I have two daughters in the program, Bryn, who will be class of 2025, and Maeve, who will be class of 2027. And I am super excited to work with Keller Parks and Rec.
Jeez.
Hi, I'm Janelle Sandlin. I actually have my youngest in the program. I've had a 2019 graduate. I have a 2021 that's just graduating, and now I have a 2026, and I'm leading up the national initiative.
Hi, this is Marianne Flores. My daughter Anna is class of 2026, and I'll be leading up Susan G. Komen.
Hi, I'm Allison Connor. My daughter is Nora Connor. She's a class of 2024, and I have stepping stones.
Hi, I'm Christina Cutzel. Sorry I came in late, so I didn't know if we were going in order or not, but
There's no order.
okay. My daughter Krista is 2026 and I am doing victory therapy.
Okay, I'm Leah Less. My daughter is Sophia Schmucki, class of 2027. And I don't remember the name of it. I was just assigned it. I think it's the Down syndrome one that I'm liaison for.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Linda Harrell. My daughter's Grace Harrell. She's in class of 2022, and I'm the liaison for Community Storehouse this year.
Is that everybody?
Oh, it's Marie. I'm here.
Hey, Marie.
Hi. I have Katie Whitfield, who's a sustainer TikToker. She's 2019. And then my youngest, Landry Whitfield, is class of 2023. And I'm rolling off of philanthropy assistant into Keller Public Library.
Hi, I'm Sarah Shipp. I'm liaison for Christ Haven. I have a class of 2024, and I've had 2 graduate, class of 2018 and 2020.
Hi, I'm Christina Mudrow. I'm not sure if you guys can see me or not, but I have a 2027 and I just got assigned mine, and I believe I'm doing something with the calendar. So Vanessa is my daughter, and we're excited to join.
Yeah, you're gonna be a calendar coordinator. So you get a behind the scenes job. That's super, super important.
Great.
All right, is that everybody? All right, we'll move forward then. What I want to do real quick is, let's see if I can do this. All right, can you see the philanthropy partners?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm doing it right. So for those of you that are new, we use these abbreviations a lot. These are all of the philanthropies that we serve here in the Keller chapter of NCL. This document can be found on the website under the chapter tab, under the philanthropy information tab. And so we use these little abbreviations over here all the time. So that's something to be familiar with. And let's see. I also wanted to show Philanthropy 101. If you're new to the chapter, I believe you got this in your provisional notebook. And I encouraged everybody to go over it before this meeting, because this is really the crux of our job on the philanthropy committee, is to be really familiar with all of these this explains how philanthropy in the chapter runs from a member standpoint. So this can also be found on the website under the chapter tab. So I encourage you to be really familiar with that. All right, now I'm going to go back. There we go. Yeah, it worked. All right, so this is what we're going to go over in the next 20 minutes or so. All of these are your responsibilities if you're a new liaison. You as a liaison serve as a link between the chapter and all of our philanthropies. So each of you gets assigned 1 or 2 to serve. A couple will serve Community Storehouse and Christ Haven. Those are our most, we do a lot with them. So they require 2 usually. And so these are the things that we're going to go over tonight. Each of these bullet points we're going to go over. So Carolyn, do you want to go over the first first bullet point?
Absolutely. So what we're asking is in the new year will start June 1st. So sometime between now and June 1st, hopefully in May, earlier in May, you can meet with the outgoing liaison, either by phone or if you want to meet in person, and just kind of get a little handoff meeting, have them, especially if you're new to the chapter, have them give you a briefing about the philanthropy if you're not familiar with it, and just what sort of opportunities they generally have. Of course, this last year has been very different than in years past. So if they could kind of tell you what we did this last year and then maybe what normally happens throughout the year, you know, some, as Carrie said, are super busy, like Community Storehouse and Christ Haven. Other ones really only have 1 or 2 events throughout the year. But if you can schedule that meeting, and Carrie, I don't know, did you tell the current liaisons to contact the new ones? Have we
Yes.
told?
And I just sent that information out to them just today. So just today, they all have your names. They know who you are now. So I told them to reach out in the next couple months or the next couple weeks.
Yeah, maybe give it to the end of this week and see if you've heard from the person that's currently in the position. And if not, maybe try reaching out to them and just seeing if you can schedule a time just to talk on the phone or something. It used to be like there was a binder you could hand off and stuff, but everything really seems to be electronic now. So I don't know that you necessarily will have anything you have to pass on. We try to keep most of the documents and things on the website so that you can, and anybody can access them. Let's see, sorry, Carrie. If you are on social media, we suggest that you follow your philanthropy on all the different social media avenues. This is so not me because I am not on social media, but for those of you who know how to do this, it's super helpful. Or like I do, I ask my daughter to do it for me and she monitors and tells me things that she sees. The other thing we ask is that every month, you just check in with your philanthropy, remind them that we're here, remind them that, you know, we're available to help out if they have any upcoming events that we can work with. A lot of them will contact you, especially the busier ones, they'll contact you often. But sometimes, you know, some of the ones that we really don't do but 1 or 2 events for throughout the year, you know, may forget, or they may have several different chapters or organizations they're working with. So it's just nice for you to kind of pop in and, you know, send an email or a text to them and just say, hey, we're available if you need us for anything, or what do you guys have coming up on the calendar? And then this year we started the monthly liaison report, which can be found on the website. And that's really just a way for you to document that you reached out to them. And if there's anything that they have coming up or that they suggested or any thoughts they have on what we maybe could do for them. If there's nothing, you can just say, you know, nothing new. You don't have to get into any details or anything, but just kind of letting us know that we've made contact with them and what we might expect in the next couple of months if there's anything coming up.
All right. Next, one of your jobs is to manage your event. That means you're responsible for monitoring all of the signups for your philanthropy on the calendar. And you can do this easily because there's actually a drop-down menu on the calendar, and you can go find your philanthropy and click on that, and that'll show up on the calendar only things for your philanthropy. And that can be really helpful. And you can go back in the past and look at past events, and that can be helpful sometimes. So while you're monitoring this, you're going to make sure that if you put something on the calendar, you want to see if it's filling up. You know, if it's not filling up and you know your philanthropy really needs volunteers for this, then you can send out a chapter-wide email promoting, you know, encouraging people to sign up, letting them know, hey, this philanthropy really needs some help. If your event does fill and more people want to sign up for it, they can use the wait list. And the wait list is there for members to sign up in case somebody cancels. If someone must cancel their sign up for your event, then it is not your job to find the replacement. It is the patroness who's canceling. It's their job. And remind them of that if they ever call you and are like, hey, I can't, you know, do this. Say, well, did you try to find a replacement, you know? So we always tell them to, if there's enough time, especially to check out the wait list first and see if anybody's on the wait list and contact those patronesses and see if they want that shift. then you will contact the philanthropy and let them know who is coming in their stead. You know, the philanthropies understand. Sometimes, you know, your daughter wakes up sick. She's got a fever. She can't go to Keller Public Library and help out that day. They understand. They get it that life happens. But, you know, we should always try our best to find a replacement for our shifts. Because a lot of times, you know, you never know what mother and daughter are sitting around waiting for something to do. And they'll be happy to take your shift for you. Let one of us know, let April or I know, basically, if something comes up and you cannot do your job anymore, something, you know, a health emergency or a big life change. Life happens, and this is a volunteer organization, and so you don't have to suffer and struggle. Let us know. We will help you. We can, you know, take over your job for you, help you out, get you the support that you need. We just hate you to feel like you can't do your job, and hate for you to just drop the ball on your job and just stop doing your job. So please reach out. Let us know if you're having a personal crisis and you can't do your job. You know, we'll be happy to step in and help you out. You do not need to attend all of your philanthropies events, especially if they have a lot, but it would be great if you would periodically volunteer with them to show your support if you're able to. So we do encourage that. That goes along with following them on the social media. You know, try to be an advocate for your philanthropy. Get to know them, their events, volunteer with them if you can. Carolyn?
So as Carrie already said, keep a real open line of communication with the VPs of philanthropy. Personally, if you need any help or you can't figure something out, or if you can't remember how to load a calendar event, just ask. This should not be a stressful position. This shouldn't be a burden in your life. So sometimes it can seem overwhelming, especially if if you're new to the chapter and you haven't been around to kind of see how some of this stuff works. Just ask. Anybody's happy to help. I'll still be around next year. I'm more than happy to help. I was Christ Haven's liaison 2 years ago for my first year, and then I've been co-VP of philanthropy for 2 years. So just ask, or ask your sponsor. Your sponsors are also really good sounding boards and people that can help you through some of this. Let us know if you have any feedback. If things aren't working, if a particular opportunity isn't, you know, working anymore, or you see how maybe we could be doing something better, don't be afraid to tell us that. Make sure, you know, same thing. Make sure that you
Andrew, we can hear you.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Any problems, any questions, any suggestions, anything like that, just ask, reach out. Also, just for people that haven't been in this sort of role or in NCL, with these philanthropies, it's not uncommon to have some turnover in the volunteer coordinator that's there. You know, there are some that have been there forever, and then some of them we see turnover quite a bit. So that's the other reason we really like to have you reach out on a monthly basis, because they don't always tell us when they're leaving. So we sometimes are the last ones to find out, and if we're not checking in with them regularly, we kind of just lose contact with them, because the new person sometimes doesn't even realize that we're somebody that they can use to volunteer for events. Let's see. And then I think we talked about the liaison monthly report already.
Yeah.
But who do we turn that report into? The monthly.
Good question.
Yeah, that's going to go.
Do it the same way, Carrie?
I actually have an idea. I want to put it directly on the website, so it gets on Form Builder. I want to recreate it so it gets automatically sent to April and I.
Okay.
And it's going to be easier to fill out directly on the website instead of having to like kind of scan it and what they did last year. I think there's a way to make that, to simplify that process. So I think it's going to be automatic. Once they fill it, it'll be like the survey, Carolyn, like that, you know, how it's just automatic.
So you'll let us know.
Yes, in the next month, I will let you know.
Awesome. Okay.
What to do with that report. So I do have changes in mind for that, and that will be forthcoming. So yeah, that wouldn't happen until after June 1st anyway. So.
Well, so this year we kind of split the philanthropies, and the reports were reports that you could fill it out online, but then it had to be like printed and scanned, and they went to the assistants. But one of the things we heard from the current liaisons this year was that so often people were sitting in car line, waiting the 15-20 minutes to pick up the kids and wanted to just knock out doing this report, which they couldn't really do. So Carrie is working on simplifying it and making it something that we can kind of sit and do while we're sitting at one of the kids' activities or sitting in car line, and it can just be submitted and it's not so complicated.
Yes, and so that's why I'm glad we have April, our webmaster, to help me with that.
Yes,
exactly what I'm talking about.
That's a huge step up for me because I barely know how to email. So April is going to be awesome.
All right. So another aspect of your role is updating the calendar, which we've gone over a little bit. So the big thing is filling out the calendar request form, and that is actually going to be the second half of this meeting. Melissa Norton is going to teach you all how to fill out that calendar request form. So when you receive an event request from your philanthropy, you need to fill out the calendar request form, which is on the website. Melissa will show you where it is. And we ask that you submit it within 48 hours or as soon as possible. Please do not ignore it or forget about it and let weeks go by. We really want these events on our calendar as soon as possible so our members can sign up and serve our philanthropies. If you're not sure how to word it, one thing you can do is use current or past examples on the calendar. I had to take over Victory Therapy Center a couple of years ago. Was it last year? And in order to do the baking, I just went to a past, event from the year before, and I just literally copied and pasted that and then updated the pertinent information to make it current. So I encourage you to do that. If the philanthropy has not given you enough details, it's your job to go back to them and say, hey, how many mother daughters do you need? What time is this event? I need a job description. Can you explain what exactly you need so I can make sure it's the kind of thing our philanthropy can help with? We cannot handle money. We cannot donate gift cards. There's a lot of things we cannot do. So we need to make sure that the events we put on the calendar follow our NCL national policies and procedures and our chapter policy and procedures. And if you're not sure, just contact myself or April or Carolyn or anybody on the board, and we can make sure and let you know, yeah, that's something we can do, or, we can't do that. We don't fundraise in this chapter. There's just certain things we don't do. We're a service organization. That's what we try to do, is hands-on service. It's been a little different this past year with COVID. We've had to make a few exceptions and bend rules a little bit, but as things die down with the virus and we open back up, we hope to get back to our in-person volunteering nature of our chapter. So you can send an email to the entire chapter if the event has a short window for signing up. You can reach out to the calendar coordinators at this email address. This email address is not for putting events on the calendar. It's for any other communication you may need with the calendar coordinators. It is their job to take your request and put them on the calendar, and they'll be trained in how to do that. They try to add those events within 72 hours of receiving them. They take turns. There's always somebody on call to do that job. And one thing you can do is you can email them and ask them to add another TikToker or make a name change. If a patroness had to cancel and another patroness took that shift, you can let the calendar coordinators know. They can update it on the website, on the calendar. So use that email address for any kind of business email with the calendar coordinators. And then the calendar coordinators really ask that you double check. Once they post your event on the calendar, they ask that you please double check and make sure they did it correctly. They're human. They might have made a mistake. So it's your job to make sure they, put it correctly. Double check their work. They appreciate that because they don't want to screw up. They're not trying to do that. All right. You want to do this, Carolyn? Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. So just to clarify for the new people, that calendar coordinator address, the 3 calendar coordinators all have access to it. And I think Kara Meredith is on here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Usually they take a month at a time shift and they monitor that email address. So you kind of don't know which one of the 3 you might be talking to or who's on call at the time, but they constantly monitor that address. So like Carrie said, any calendar information should go to them.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so on our website, in the chapter tab, there's the service hours verification contact list. And if you can just monitor this, if you have a change in the contact person at your philanthropy, please make sure that the webmaster knows that there has been a change and send them an email with the new contact and email address and phone number, because this is the verification list that our high school girls use for Green Cord and NHS for all of their hours verification. And if it's the wrong person, you will get tons of questions and emails and texts and phone calls asking why people's hours have not been verified. It is not your job as a liaison to verify hours. It should be somebody at the philanthropy that's doing this. So if you can just kind of every once in a while, or just if when you find out, you know, so-and-so has left and there's a new person taking over, just know that that also needs to be updated with the new person. Let's see, contact. So we did that. NHS stuff I'm just learning about because my daughter's a freshman at Keller High School. Some of you moms that have older girls might already know this, but we've had lots of requests to sign applications for NHS, which I kind of didn't have a problem doing, and I thought it was fine. What I've come to find out just in the last few weeks was that they are, especially at Keller, they are very specific that the liaisons and the moms that run NCL are not the ones to sign these applications. It has to be somebody at the actual philanthropy. So even though you might want to help out and do a favor for somebody and go ahead and sign this, it sounds like from what I have just learned, that this is really frowned upon, and maybe people have not gotten in because of this, because they haven't followed directions, but it needs to be somebody at the actual philanthropy that signs these things. Green Cord, my understanding is it's a little more relaxed, and you as a philanthropy liaison can sign those applications if you want to verify those hours for people.
It depends on your philanthropy. Certain philanthropies, it needs to be the volunteer coordinator at that philanthropy. And you as a liaison should redirect the girls to that person. For example, Keller Public Library, a girl signs up to do that shift. You don't know if she actually showed up, but Liz Pixley does because she keeps a sign-in sheet. So she knows if the girl actually showed up for her shift and served those Green Cord hours. So if a TikToker contacts you, please sign this, fill this out for my Green Cord. You just say, you need to contact Liz Pixley at Keller Public Library. She can help you, and give her her email, you know? In that case, it's not your job to do that. But it really depends on the philanthropy. And that's something you can talk about to the outgoing liaison. Like, how do we do that with this philanthropy?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just takes some of the pressure off you, because I can tell you, having been a liaison for a very busy philanthropy and being in this position, you'll get requests like the night before something's due. Hey, can I come to your house and have you sign an application? Or can I have you sign some hours verification stuff? So it just kind of puts the responsibility back on the girls to do things in a timely manner, and, you know, just stay on top of things and not call you at 7 o'clock on Sunday night because they need something Monday morning. So I would highly encourage you referring people back to their philanthropy for any hours verification.
Yes, and that's majority of cases, that's what they should do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
All right, so we had some guidelines. I kept this from last year from national about COVID, and we really haven't heard anything different from them yet. Hopefully, you know, things are on the downswing and things will open up this next school year with even more opportunities locally. But if your philanthropy, you know, has any safety information regarding COVID, you need to make sure that's on the, you know, event description. If they require masks or distancing, make sure you ask about that. You know, some aren't, you know, obviously some aren't even open yet because of vulnerable populations. And if the volunteers ever feel uncomfortable and safe, they can leave at any time, you know, and that has nothing to do with COVID. That's COVID or non-COVID. You know, we need to And hopefully they would give you feedback about events, like that. If they felt uncomfortable and unsafe anywhere, you should, hopefully they would contact you and let you know about that. We've had to be really creative this past year. You've probably noticed, trying to add opportunities, and that might continue somewhat over the summer. So, you can, if you can think of any creative way to serve your philanthropy, and you can approach them with an idea for a way we can serve them, that's great. Discuss it with them, discuss it with us. We've had that come up this year, and you can be a great resource for your philanthropy, getting creative and adding opportunities to serve them. And our whole motto this past year is being flexible and just, having a lot of grace. That's kind of been National's motto, is it's a year of grace with how crazy everything was. There were more offsite hours, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, and luckily more onsite are coming. And, that's okay. That's the way it needed to be.
So every year we have a philanthropy fair where we ask our philanthropies to gather someplace that usually it's at training. This year we're doing it a little different. The philanthropy fair is going to be at our August kickoff. So it's currently scheduled for Saturday, August 21st in the morning. There's going to be more details to come. I think, am I right? Is it at a park? Is what I think they're talking about.
I haven't heard anything about a location yet.
Okay,
it's outdoors. I'm pretty sure it's outside.
Okay, so you guys as the liaison, probably in the next month or so, we'll get some more information about this, and you'll need to basically invite your philanthropy to this philanthropy fair. Usually they come and they just send a representative, and they'll have a table with brochures and stuff. A lot of the philanthropies and the contact people there have done this year after year for us. They're very familiar with it, and they even have visual aids that they bring that they've used for years. If they can't make it, it's okay for you to stand in for them and just answer some questions and tell people what your philanthropy is about. For example, Humane Society, most people know Humane Society, but some of the other smaller ones, people may not know what they're about and what they do. So you can just answer some basic questions and be the representative. So we will keep you, or Carrie and April will keep you up to date on any information we receive about that, so you can invite them at some point.
Yeah, the most important thing right now is to just get it on their calendar so they know, they can just schedule that in on their calendar. And that is really it for Carolyn and I's portion. So if you're not a provisional, just a reminder to give yourself 1 league hour for this training tonight. It's not over, but just a reminder to give yourself that hour. And also a reminder to, anytime you're working on your job, you are earning league hours for that. So if you meet, for example, with the volunteer coordinator, like Liz Pixley used to invite me at the Keller Library, my first 2 years I had her, and she'd meet me once a year at a coffee shop, and we'd sit and visit, and she'd talk about what was going on at the library and just touch base. And my outgoing liaison set up that first initial one with her, and I got to meet her. And, I can log that hour. I did work for my philanthropy, that's a league hour. So if you spend time on your phone, discussing it or working on a calendar or whatever, count your hours, log your hours as league hours. You always earn league hours in the chapter for doing your job. You can just use the comment section to explain what you did. Membership really loves it when we use that comment section. So be sure to do that. Any questions at this point before I turn it over to Melissa? All right, now don't worry, you don't have to remember and memorize all of this tonight. We're going to post this PowerPoint on the website, and we will also post this Zoom meeting on the website. So you can go back and refer to both and refresh your memories, especially in a month when you really start officially taking over your job. And you're like, wait, what did they talk about? What did they say? We understand you're not going to remember it. So that's okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Melissa. And turn it over to you.
Okay, I have lost the share button. There it is.
Melissa is our calendar coordinator expert. She's going on to emeritus status, like Carolyn is.
Well, I'm trying to get to. All right, can everyone see the NCL screen now?
No, we see you.
You see me. Well.
Oh, you know what?
How about now?
Yes.
Okay, so you see where it says, hi, Melissa?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'm going to try to move that. So I am one of 3 calendar coordinators, and this last year has been myself, Kara Meredith, and Shan Martin. And Shane and I are rolling off after 2 years on calendar. So I've kind of been the lead this year, and next year the lead is going to be Kara, who's also on the call tonight. Just kind of feel free to chime in, Kara, if you want to add something. Next year she will be the lead, as I said, and the 2 new people joining the calendar team are Andrea. I'm going to mispronounce this, Andrea, if you're on the call, I apologize. Girolamo, and then Christina Medro. And I did see you, Christina. Welcome. So that will be the 3 calendar coordinators next year. So I want to just kind of point out a couple of things on the calendar, and then I'll show you how to fill out the request form. So I'm going to go to the calendar. And as Carrie mentioned earlier, you can search by your philanthropy, which is really nice. And I'm old. I like things bigger. I have a hard time looking at things on the app. I know, though, a lot of people love the app. I like to look at the big screen on my laptop. I was just going to point out to you a couple of things about the calendar. One is that, as you all know, you have to serve 15 philanthropy hours in a year to stay in standard. And in order to count for those 15 hours, it has to be something listed on the calendar. In our bylaws, it says it has to be an opportunity on the calendar available to all members. So what that means is basically, you know, in real estate, you may have a pocket listing, you know, that's not widely advertised. We don't have those in NCL. If you want people to sign up for it and be able to log hours for it, it has to be on the calendar and available to all members. So that's the calendars are just super important. And so only things that are available on the calendar count towards your 15 required hours, and then more hours for awards. And as Carrie also showed you, a lot of times things you do for NCL can count for other activities that your child's involved in, like NCL or Green Court or things, excuse me, like Green Court or NHS, things like that. So that's the good news. So I wanted to point out just a couple of really good examples on here. If you have an activity on the calendar for your philanthropy that is available every day of the month, an example of that would be Operation Gratitude, like writing letters or making the pillowcases or the paracord bracelets. Those are available every day of the month, and you just log your hours at the end of the month. So we had to make a choice. Do we list that every single month or do we not? And what we found was that the calendar got really busy. So I want to show you an example of something that's available only on the last day of the month. And this is the Meals on Wheels letter writing campaign. Shelley Merkel wrote this listing, and it's really good. She reminds people to post pics on her activity feed, to be creative and make homemade cards. She reminds people that don't put Happy March or Happy April or whatever, because you don't know when these might get delivered. They might have a bunch in one week and they might need to be spread out. She tells you how to log your hours, how many hours you get for 4 cards, and how to get the cards to her. And she also says, look for this event listing on the last day of each month. So as we've had a lot more offsite hours, as Carrie mentioned, this is an example of one of those. And we didn't want this listed on the calendar every single day because it just becomes clutter and people kind of start to tune it out. So this is an example of something that you see just once a month, although it's available every single day of the month. There are other things that are available during the week, and maybe you log your hours on Saturday. There's different ways to slice and dice it. And if you're not quite sure how to list your event, please email us at the calendar coordinator email address, and we'll try to work with you on figuring out the best time to list your event. what's another good example? In addition to deciding what day you want to list it, if you want to list it every single day, which I don't advise, or if you want to list it only on Saturdays, log your hours for the previous week, or only on the last day of the month and logging your hours for the whole month just once. You also have to decide who's signing up. And I'm going to give you some examples of that. For the cottage meals at Christ Haven, and Christ Haven is, I spend more time as a calendar coordinator doing things for Community Storehouse in Christ Haven than I do probably for any other organizations. They're just very complex, a lot going on with these two particular organizations. One of the things you might want to include in your listing is whether only the patroness should sign up, only the mom, or whether the mother and daughter both should. And the decision was made on Christ Haven, for example, to only have the mom sign up. And it says it right up here, one mother-daughter team needed, sign up under the mother's name only and add your daughter or daughters to the wait list. And the reason for that is as we're running reports and figuring out what we've contributed to these philanthropies, regardless of whether you cook it, you and your daughter cook it, you and your two daughters cook it, it's one meal that's being delivered. So we have just set it up where there's only one slot available to sign up for this meal. And then if you want to have if both get one TikToker or two TikTokers, you can still log hours for them. You don't necessarily have to be signed up in order to log hours, but we do encourage in this particular instance to put names in the wait list. So those are just two, I just wanted to show you two really good examples of things you kind of want to think through before you do your calendar listing. When is it going to appear and who's signing up for it? So having said all that, let's go ahead and go look at the form. It is under chapter and then under philanthropy information. And we're going to go to philanthropy calendar request form.
And you can fill this form out. Events can be listed, what, 2 months out, Melissa? Is that about right?
We list things 60 days in advance as our default.
Okay.
And if you find out about it from the philanthropy 7 days in advance, since the default is 60, it'll go live as soon as I hit save on it. So, and that happens. Sometimes they just forget to tell us, like you said. Okay, so here's the request form. This is kind of like a Google form. It's pretty straightforward to fill out. And then it will, when you fill this out, it will route to the calendar coordinator's email address. So you're going to choose your organization name. How about we'll do Meals on Wheels just for grins. Your registration name is usually going to be that acronym that Carrie pointed out. What are we going to do? We're going to make them coffee mugs. I'm just making this up. We're going to decorate some kind of a coffee mug and take to them. So under event description, some of the things you may want to include here. It's not acceptable just to buy a mug. It has to be a mug that you've painted or decorated in some way. Do you want the mother and daughter both to sign up or only the mother? And if you think about this one, if you have a mom with 2 TikTokers and all 3 of them sign up, you're only getting 1 mug. It's going to be really difficult to track. So this one, if we're going to give coffee mugs to all the cute little people that we deliver Meals on Wheels to, maybe just have the mom sign up and to just put a note that the daughters can still log the hours. You may want to include here to wear your NCL shirt when you go to deliver this. At a lot of our philanthropies, it's important that you wear closed-toed shoes. Like at the library, they don't want you to run over your little toes with the library carts. They like closed-toed shoes, and some other philanthropies do too. So anything you want, anything that your person needs to know. If it's for an event for Keller Parks and Rec, if they're helping out with the Keller movie night, where do they go to check in when they get there? Just the nuts and bolts of what do I need to know? Do I need to get there 15 minutes early? Do I need to wear something in particular or specific? If you've never written one of these before and you're new to NCL, maybe just go look at the calendar and spend some time kind of reading some other ones that are out there, and that may be helpful to you. I'm just going to put test here. Maximum reservations, which I noticed is misspelled. Okay, anyway, we can submit a help ticket for that. So under maximum reservations, again, if you want 20 coffee mugs a week that are hand painted or whatever, or 20 per month that we're going to take to the people on our route, and you only want the mother to sign up, here you're going to put 20 maximum reservations. If you want mothers and daughters both to sign up, I might go 40 and then just watch it, because as soon as you have a mom with multiple TikTokers sign up, your count is off. Does that make sense to everybody? Because you'd have 3 spots taken and you're only getting 1 mug. So think of, when you set your reservations, think of how many people are signing up. Is it the patroness only or mother-daughter pairs? Minimum reservations, you don't even really need to fill that in. It's not a required field. It's very rarely a situation where if no one signs up, the event doesn't make. So we don't do much with that field, to be honest with you. Restrict sign up. The choice here is all active and provisional members. We've had a little bit of excitement with this last month, because we wanted our provisionals to be able to, our new members who are pending, technically you're not able to volunteer till June the 2nd, but those things have been live for 60 days in advance, and we wanted people to be able to go ahead and sign up for things. And so we've had to include all active, provisional, and pending members. And that's how some of the new folks are able to go ahead and sign up for stuff, rather than when their membership is live on June 1st, everything's already filled for the summer. So, but you're just going to choose that one. Activity name. You'll see the most recent, thing that I filled out here was probably last year when I did this. So we'll go back to Meals on Wheels, coffee mugs. Location. I'm not sure why I don't have a default right here. Usually I can just choose from a drop down, but anyway, so we'll just say this is First United Methodist Church in Keller, which is where you pick up Meals on Wheels. Start date. I would usually choose the date that these things are due. If we're going to have them dropped off weekly, if we're going to have them dropped off monthly, what is the date that that's due? Because technically it today, but maybe we don't want them dropped off till the 31st. If we're going to have it just be one of those last day of the month type things. So the end date will also be the 31st. And if it is an all-day event where you can just bring these to the Meals on Wheels Liaison's porch and drop them off, I usually just do 8 to 5. And we'll just say the shift is 9 hours. Sign up ends days before. This is going to be up to your philanthropy. I know Liz Pixley at the library likes all of her events closed out 3 days prior because she wants to know who's coming. Christ Haven, if you're working at their resale shop, it used to be called Barely Used, and now it's called Christ Haven's Resale. There is no deadline here. You can sign up that morning and show up to volunteer that afternoon, because they always have things for you to do. You can sort hangers, you can sort donations, you can dust, you can vacuum. They always need volunteers, so they don't have an end date. But that's really up to your philanthropy, how soon they need to know who's coming. Is this a reoccurring event? I'm going to say no. We're going to try this for 1 month and see what happens. So a reoccurring event, it's not your definition or my definition. It's the people that wrote Digital Cheetah. So an example of that would be the father-daughter dance at Keller Parks and Rec that they have at the Keller Point. So has it ever occurred before? Yes. But what you want to think about when you're choosing, is it a reoccurring event, is, are you setting up a series of things? Or are you just setting up one date? So if I'm only choosing one date, I'm going to say no. If I'm so confident that my mug campaign to deliver seniors coffee mugs is going to do well, I could say, yes, it's a recurring event, and I could do it for the last day of the month for 3 months in a row. I could try it for May, June, July. So that's Digital Cheetah's definition of a reoccurring event is, are you setting up a series of events that occur in a predictable way, the last day of the month, or every single Saturday, or something like that? Background check required to be on file. I mean, that is something that probably would need to go back up here in our event description. Sometimes it's just up to your particular philanthropy and what they want to have there. Liaison contact name, that is you. So sometimes people will get confused on this particular field, and they'll tell me all the contact information of the volunteer coordinator of their philanthropy. And this is really so that any members of NCL, if they have a question about volunteering for this particular thing, they know who to reach out to at NCL. So I'm going to choose Carrie for this. And her email address, I'll just put mine because we were just testing. Additional dress requirements, it's almost always an NCL t-shirt and closed-toed shoes. Occasionally there will be something that is different, and here's where you would list that. For the father-daughter dance at the Keller Parks and Rec was a cute event, and the last time they had it 2 years ago, it was a Great Gatsby theme, so it was Roaring 20s. So they wanted people to dress up for that event. Sometimes for Victory Therapy Center, we'll be asked to kind of be like the wait staff, and they'll say wear a white blouse and black pants. So if there's something different, you can note that there. Notes for calendar coordinators. If this is your first form, or you're just not sure about something, or you're wondering what the best way to do it, you can leave a little note there. And new activity needed. To your knowledge, has this event ever happened before? Because we'll have to code it, if we'll have to make a new code to log hours if it is. So that's why we're asking that. So I'll say yes. And then I'm going to hit submit. Well, before I move on, do you guys have any questions about filling in any of the forms on this, any of the fields on the form? No? I've talked too much and I've lulled you to sleep. I'm sorry. I'm going to hit submit. Oh, event description. What did I not do? I did. Let's see. Oh my goodness. There it went. Thank you for your submission. And that will, whatever you filled in for the email address, you will get a copy of that form so that you know that it went successfully.
Melissa, I had a question. This is Linda.
Sure.
So is it my understanding we could submit requests for anything throughout the year, and then we'll see them pop up on the account, I mean, on the calendar within 60 days? Is that correct?
Sort of. If you are doing a recurring event and you're saying that I'm going to have this event and we're going to schedule it a year out, things will come live 60 days in advance of the event. So like Meals on Wheels goes January through December, but it doesn't all open up. It opens up 60 days before the event. If you're sending me a request, as long as it's going to be an event that happens within the next 60 days, it will go live as soon as I hit save.
Okay, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
It did, thanks.
Cool. So a tip for you liaisons there is, if you know there's a day that your kiddo's out of school, or if you're one of those moms who says, I'm going to schedule everything on this particular Friday. We're going to get a haircut, we're going to do our doctor's appointment, and we're going to do the Meals on Wheels route, and you want to like swoop in and grab that Meals on Wheels route, knowing that it comes available 60 days prior to, you can like be sitting there waiting when you log on your computer that morning and grab that particular event. All right, let me see if I can show you my inbox here.
Do those roll over at midnight? That's what I've heard.
It rolls over at the time that the event occurs.
Oh, okay.
So like if Meals on Wheels starts at 10:30, it would be live at 10:30, 60 days out.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm having a hard time getting to my inbox, but I wanted to show you guys what I see when it comes in. Let me see if I can do that.
I was having cursor problems earlier too. Maybe it's
What's the deal? Okay, well, let me just see if I can. I'll just go log into it right now. I've been band boosting today. If you saw the little band logo pop up right there, it might take me to band right now. Let's see where it goes. Oh my gosh, don't y'all love Zoom? It's so fun. Such a fun thing. Okay, it's in band, so let me switch over to NCL. I should volunteer for fewer other organizations, perhaps.
It's thinking.
It is. Okay. So I guess I wasn't patient enough. I submitted my form twice. So here's the inbox. This is the email address here is nclkeller calendar@gmail.com. So this is where it comes when you hit submit on that form. As Carolyn, I believe, was saying, one of the three of the calendar coordinators is always on. I'm making the air quotes with my hand. You know, we're always on duty. And sometimes we take a month at a time. I've taken a 2-month shift. And so during those 2 months when I'm on calendar, is how I refer to it, I'll check, a couple of times a day to see if I have any requests, because we want to do these things for you in a timely manner. Our service window is 72 hours. It's typically less than that, but you may, submit it late on a Friday and we're out of town for the weekend, and we might see it Monday morning. If it's urgent, please do go to the directory on the NCL app and email us, to the three of us directly if if it's urgent and you're worried we haven't seen it. Because we know sometimes that your contacts will forget to tell you things really early. So you can see my little goofy example I had here. I get all the information and then I can go work it. And when I respond, if I go to reply to you, it will send it to the webmaster at Digital Cheetah. So I have to remember I don't know who Jeff Goke is, but I've accidentally sent him many emails. I have to go in here and I'll have to put your email address in, and you'll see me say, your event is live on the calendar for registration. Or if it's live on the calendar for RSVP or whatever the case might be. And I usually try to go, because I know it's probably a little strange when you don't know who you're dealing with. I try to go and put my name in here so you know that I'm the person that worked your request if you have any issues. So that's kind of a best practice, I think. And some people over the years in calendar have just skipped that, and some people add it. I like to try to add it just so you know who you're dealing with, because I know who you are because I've seen your name on the form. So fair is fair. So let me go back to National Charity League site. Can you guys see the NCL site again?
Yes. Okay.
So I have a button you don't have, and that is the admin button. And so I wanted to show you what it looks like when I go in to try to add your event. Couple of things here, and this is more of an FYI. If I go into Organization Manager, I see a list of all of the different philanthropies that we work with. And for example, for Christ Haven, if I hit the little eyeball for view, I can go in and I can see, if I click activities, all of the different activities we've had. And so if you look at your app and you're like, is this a new activity? Do I need a new activity? You can see what I can see. If the workaround is to go to your app and see if you log hours for Christ Haven, these are the choices that are going to pop up for you as a choice of what kind of hours you worked for Christ Haven. Does that make sense to everybody? Like you can't see this, but
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, it's a good cheat to see what's there. And you can see different things we've done over the years. Christ Haven used to have horses you could go and ride. That was a cool thing.
So what you're saying is before we click, is this a new activity? Go and check and make sure, because there's a good chance it's actually not.
Yeah, it's probably there. And if it's something you've heard of, you know, if you've been in NCL for a while and you know it's there, you probably don't even need to check your app. But this is a way you can know if you want to know definitively.
And what we mean by checking your app is go into the NCL app on your phone and go to the hours manager and enter like a fake event kind of for your philanthropy, and it'll pop up.
Yes, pretend like you're logging hours.
Pretend like you're logging hours, but don't really.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see what your options are for what you're going to call that event. What's already been done will pop up.
And then if you need a new one, that's cool, but I have to go to a different place to add it. So that's kind of why we asked the question. So I'm going to show you real quickly under member management. I'm going to go organization managers, where I went to the list of organizations. I don't know what some of these other, I'm not an hours manager, but I assume that's where they go. I'm going to go to registration tool manager, and I'm going to see all of the different events. For community storehouse, I'm just going to show you if it was a recurring event. You can see snack bags started all the way back in October, and it right now ends May 31st because we're changing them for the summer. But you can see that's a beautiful thing for me as a calendar coordinator, is I don't have to go in and add that every single Monday for 10 months. I just change the end date. And if you're the community storehouse coordinator and you say, we want to extend this event just like it is, you do not need to fill out a new calendar request form. Just email our email address and say, hey, I know that ends on May 31st. Can we make it go to August 31st? I literally click edit and pull this up, and I type a new end date. It's the easiest thing in the world. Recurring events, once you get them set up correctly the first time, are fabulous. So that's a recurring event. If you're adding a one-time event, our little coffee mug example would be over here on the second page. So I'm going to go to manage. I'm not going to choose recurring because we're only going to set it up for 1 month. We're doing a test, just a one-time thing. I can see all the things. Meals on Wheels letter writing, you can see it occurs on the last day of every month. Delivery is a recurring event that's set up for every Friday. So lots of recurring events for Meals on Wheels. But if I want to do a one-time thing, at the bottom, I'm going to click Add Registration Event. And then I'm going to wait. There it goes. So here's your registration name, the description. I'm going to copy paste. I can bold it. I can add a link. Someone's earlier introduced himself and said that their philanthropy was Down Syndrome's Partnership. There are a lot of those bigger philanthropies that we're not their only volunteers. So a lot of times on those events, you'll have to say, click first on the website of the philanthropy to register, then come back and register on the NCL site, because we're competing for volunteer opportunities with the National Honor Society and other NCL chapters in different places. So sometimes you do have to have a link to an external sign up before you come sign up here. I can do bullet points. Send it to me in the form formatted how you want it to look, and I'll do my best to recreate it. I will tell you that when I copy paste over here, it's going to scrub all the formatting, but it's easy to fix it. Max reservations, remember, here is where you need to think about if you wanted only the mother to sign up or if you wanted mother-daughter pairs, okay? So double your number of reservations if you want mother-daughter pairs. Restrict sign up to. Remember earlier I told you that we could add pending. That's a choice up there. On cancellation, years ago, we used to have it always email the liaison if someone canceled, and we don't do that now. It just comes to the calendar. So that's why you do just want to check, because we found some things people would register for and cancel, and you guys were just getting overrun with emails. So we don't do that. If you want us to notify you, let us know, like in the little special notes section for the calendar. Here you're going to choose your organization. So if I choose Meals on Wheels, here I can see all the different possibilities for that. And I would have had to go create a new one for the cups. So I'm just going to choose pantry, just, you know, to get through this example. Location. So here I can choose, there's lots of different choices for community storehouses. Is it the pantry? Is it upscale resale? There's different choices here. So I'll choose whatever location you've told me on the form. Other location, if it's a drop off at a patroness's house, I'm probably not going to add her to the database as a permanent location that can be selected. I'll just list it down here. Start date and time. Our default for sign up day starts before is 60. So unless you tell me, don't open it yet, if it's within 60 days until the time of the event, it's going to go live as soon as we close out. Sign up in days before, again, that is whatever your philanthropy tells you. If it's the library, they want to know 3 days in advance. Other places may not care, or they may want to know more in advance. The primary coordinator is you, your phone number, your email, and that is just so if anything happens, the NCL member can reach out to you. I one time signed up for an event, and it was actually for the Down Syndrome Partnership, and it was at a country club in Fort Worth, and they were going to allow the kids an opportunity to golf. And I got there, and it was dark. There was no one there. And so I needed to call the liaison and say, hey, am I at the right place? What's going on? There's nobody here. And for the record, I got to log 3 hours for just a nice drive to downtown and coming back because if your ever event's canceled, you still get the hours. So there's no secondary coordinator. The only thing we change calendar coordinator colors for is I will always make TikToker meetings a different color just so they're easy for the kids to find. And then I hit save and it will go, again, if it's within 60 days, it will go live. Occasionally, Shirley Wipers would tell me for community storehouse to kind of hold off an event and open it 2 weeks prior to the date, because some of her events in the summer, the camps, some more different reading camps were very popular. And so she wanted more people to have a chance to know the registration was coming. So that's pretty rare, but did happen occasionally. I know you probably won't have a lot of questions until it's time to submit for your first event. The calendar coordinators don't bite. We're very friendly, nice folks. If you have questions, ask us. If you're super anxious about it, just send us an email at our and one of us will, call you to talk you through it if you need that. So just let us know what you need, because we're partners on this. You guys have really the most important job of finding these opportunities and bringing it back to the chapel for people to volunteer for. And we're kind of your mouthpiece to get it on the calendar. So you will work with us a lot. Carrie, is there anything else that you wanted me to talk? I've probably talked too much. Is there anything else that I didn't cover that you needed me to?
I think that covers it.
Does anybody else have any questions? All righty. Hope everybody's still awake. Sorry.
It'll be scary the first time you do it, but you'll get used to it. It'll be fine. That's it. That's all we've got. So I just want to say thank you for serving this year. It's going to be a great year. We hope some of our philanthropies can open up that have been closed. The big thing I would say to you is just you get to be a cheerleader for your philanthropy. That's your job, basically, is to advocate for that philanthropy. So get to know them. I think you'll feel a lot better once you talk to the outgoing liaison, because they will be able to explain to you how that specific philanthropy runs, how they do things, and be able to really give you the inside scoop on your specific philanthropy. And that will make you feel a lot better after you talk to them. And they're not going anywhere, most of them. They've just got different jobs. So, you're not totally on your own. You can always ask them any questions throughout the year, reach back to them. They'll be available for you, and they'll be so happy to help you. I know they all will. So we appreciate you doing this job this year. As you can see how important it is and how special it is to be able to serve these philanthropies and help out in our community. So thank you so much. And we'll be in touch.
Thanks, ladies.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks. Great job.
Carolyn.
Great job, you guys. Thanks.